What is the Equality Act? Well, this legislation is set to ban discrimination based on gender identity and sexual orientation. It has recently been the topic of many podcasts, news stories, and articles. The House of Representatives have passed this legislative document twice. However, Republicans in the Senate continued to block its enactment. As a result of this past election, Democrats took control of both the House and the Senate, insinuating the ratification or at best a hearing soon. Many groups feel greatly split over this act. NPR released an article this month explaining things perfectly. There was a time not too long ago when same-sex marriage was unheard of and homosexuality was seen widely immoral. Many of those beliefs continue to be felt strongly today. Efforts in advocating for the LGBTQ community and rights have bettered since 2015, when under the Obama administration, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down all state bans on same-sex marriage, legalizing it in all 50 states. Nevertheless, many supporters and members of the LGBTQ community plead for more rights. Nancy Pelosi and other Democratic leaders are strong advocates for the Equality Act. Others are protesting its ratification. Religious communities are not the only ones bothered by the bill. In fact, many women's rights activists say the Equality Act will undermine women's sports. Today, let's dissect the Equality Act by answering 3 questions. First, will the Equality Act make it through the Senate intact? Second, are women's rights activists correct in asserting the Equality Act undermines women's sports? And third, will the Equality Act live up to its name? This past election has greatly bettered the chance of passing the Equality Act and other laws alike. Nicholas Wu published an article this February for USA Today mentioning that the bill is one of President Joe Biden's top legislative priorities. He wants it passed in the first 100 days he is in office. Although many Republicans are against the ratification, Republican David Cicilline said every American deserves respect and dignity. And the act, if became a law, would ensure that LGBTQ Americans can live lives free of discrimination. The House of Representatives attempted to pass a version of the act in 2019, but passing came to a quick halt in the Republican majority Senate. The bill's approval carries unpredictability still. As brought up in the article of USA Today, no Republicans co-sponsored this year's version of the legislation. The Senate divides into 50-50 between Republicans and Democratic caucus members. Vice President Kamala Harris holds a tie-breaking role. Passing this legislation would call for at least 10 Republicans to vote alongside the Democrats to advance the bill past the procedural obstacle, the filibuster. Now that we have answered questions regarding the ratification of the bill, let's look at some concerns surrounding it last month. The Wall Street Journal published a piece titled, "The Equality Act Makes Women Unequal." The article opened with a statement saying all people are created equal, but Congress is considering a bill that would make some people more equal than others. After reading many sources regarding the Equality Act, many women's rights activists made it a point by saying they are not against the LGBTQ community receiving rights, ensuring them respect and equality. However, they do not want their own rights falling at the mercy of another group's rights. This is how the bill has made them feel. Many articles, including pieces from USA Today, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Times, preface the same studies and apprehensions. Each one reports that the Equality Act would jeopardize opportunities and perhaps even the safety of many female athletes. A new completed study confirms that even after taking female hormones, transgender women athletes still enjoy at least a temporary physical advantage on the playing field. This would greatly implicate the chance of a fair playing field for female athletes. Many parents of female athletes worry about the future regarding their daughters' athletic careers. They voiced that the Equality Act is too extreme. They also asked the Biden administration to reevaluate certain aspects of the bill. After discussing one of the main concerns regarding the Equality Act, we wonder, will the Equality Act live up to its name? The reason why the Equality Act is important is because it tweaks laws like the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which has banned discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, and national origin to encompass gender identity and sexual orientation. Another important point that has surfaced while establishing this bill is that most Americans assumed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 already included those of the LGBTQ community. Those are all very important points. Nonetheless, the medley of the Equality Act into our current society will not be easy. The largest problem attached to this legislation is the probing question, equality for who? In order for this bill to function successfully in all aspects, it seems that it will need to affect other groups protected in the Civil Rights Act of 1964. As we've seen today, legislation is very complex. There is never a black and white answer that will cater to each and every one of our needs. As America moves forward with the Equality Act, let's remain tolerable and try to understand all opposing sides. Although arriving at a fair answer isn't easy, it is doable. Be thankful for our democracy. We have a voice and we can use it. Be thankful for our democracy because we can hold our legislation and politicians to high standards in order to achieve an Equality Act that represents equality for all. Thank you.